Good morning. It's 8:05 in the Calumet region. This is the Griffith Public Schools Show. I'm your host, Brian Jennings. Today is Monday, December 15th. Hey, Jed, how you doing? Happy holidays to you and yours. Mrs. Dumasic is on assignment this week. She is not here today as we end the first semester in the school corporation. This week is final exams in the middle school, high school. In terms of the schedule, reach out to the Griffith High School website. You'll see the schedule on there, or go through Schoology. You will see the final exam schedule. They begin tomorrow, so today's like the final day of the semester. Many of our teachers in the high school, middle school are just prepping kids for final exams, which, as I said, begin tomorrow. The first day of the second semester, I believe, is on Monday. Is that January the 5th? I think that's a Monday this year. So that first Monday in January, we go back to school for the start of the second semester. Halfway point of the school year. Times are flying. Things are happening around the school corporation. If you have any questions regarding any of the activities happening in the Griffith Public Schools, especially this week, reach out to the respective schools or go to the website, and you can get the schedule. Some of the things that we had happen last week in the middle school, high school, we had the Christmas celebration at the senior center. Many of our student athletes and a lot of our students were able to do that, including Coach Cam Ashley's member of his basketball team. We'll talk to him later on about that. A lot of things happening in school tomorrow night in the town, and in the from the school corporation. We've got Santa driving the Panther bus. That'll be tomorrow from 4 to 7 p.m. Santa Claus will be driving the Panther bus to the parks for pictures with Santa. Children 10 and under can board the bus, grab at least one book, as many as 5 books, grab a gift. Parents can get that perfect picture with Santa Claus. You can get some cocoa. The bus schedule is as follows. The bus will arrive at Fireman's Park from 4 to 4:25, Woodlawn Park from 4:35 to 5 p.m., Central Park 5:10 p.m. to 5:45, Tot Park 5:55 to 6:20 p.m., and then 6:30 to 7 o'clock it's at South Park. So Santa will be there. There'll also be reindeer food for the kids they can take home and leave out for the reindeer. So Santa will be driving the Panther bus tomorrow night beginning at 4 o'clock. So the big fella will be there. Mrs. Dumasic will be there. And you can have an opportunity to get gifts, books, some hot cocoa, take some pictures with Santa Claus, and it's going to be a pretty cool thing. One of the things that we obviously are striving to do, and I'll introduce our guest momentarily, is that we try to have a strong relationship with our school community and our entire town, and I think we do that. And I'll introduce our guest. My far right, that's Coach Cam Ashley. He's our boys basketball coach now in his first season. To my immediate right is Mrs. Olympia Teenstra. She is our athletic director at the Griffith Public Schools, so we'll talk to them. But I think, Coach Ashley, I want to start with you first and sort of touching on the theme today of community relations with the school corporation. You had your basketball team, some of your players at the senior center last week for that luncheon and some of the music. Just talk about, first and foremost, the event and why you wanted to send some of your kids out there.
Well, we look to, like you just said, we want to be out in the community, want to be engaged. We want their support for all of our games, home and away. And it's just a good opportunity for them to represent the basketball team and represent me as a first-year head coach, represent our vision and our goals and their self, obviously. So we would like to have more kids and more seniors from all classes. But yeah, I mean, we love being out in the community.
You know, Mrs. Teenstra, obviously athletics relies on the community and for funding and all that sort of thing. And, you know, obviously the relationship has to be strong. And just talk about your philosophy on dealing with the community and getting the community involved.
I think it's super important to have community involvement. We want our athletes to showcase us well, show that they're representing us well, be respectful, be involved, go out, do community service. We recently did a food drive with the boys basketball team where we wanted kids to bring in canned goods so they could do like a 3-point shootout and stuff like that. So we want them involved. We want them to do things well, represent us well, be involved, and show that we care because we want them to as well come out, support the kids, and we'll support them as well. Like it's community involvement. We should all be there for one another.
Coach Ashley, your first season as a head varsity coach after being an assistant at Maryville and teaching at Maryville for a number of years. Now you're teaching in the school corporation, teaching computers. Just talk about your experience so far, as the boys basketball coach and your experience in general.
I love it. My experience has been phenomenal so far. Not just from the basketball standpoint, but working in the building every day. We have a phenomenal administration team. Their culture is lively. It's positive. It makes coming to work a lot more easier every single day. So, like you just said, 3-1. It makes the coaching job, the coaching part of it, a lot more smoother, a lot more easier when you have a good admin support and they're backing you. I'll be honest with you, I love it.
Just talk about moving over from the assistant role to the head coaching position. It's a huge jump, and what's been some of the challenges you have seen as a first-year head coach?
That's been the biggest jump. That's been the biggest challenge. I'm sorry. So I think one of the biggest challenges is now that you're no longer an assistant. I'm the head now, and everything pretty much falls into my lap, falls on me, responsibility and things like that. I was just talking to my former head coach the other day, just telling him how assistants have the easiest job in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But just making sure the guys are taken care of, making sure academically that they're squared away, making sure they're not having any discipline issues, and then things are going on at home. And then making sure that we're fundraising in the program across the board from the high school all the way down to the middle school and the elementary school level. I mean, we're just trying to just keep everything developing and keep building from where we are.
Talk a little bit about your background, where you're from, what you've done along the way to sort of get you to this point.
Yeah, so I started off at Gary Westside. I was there I was a volunteer assistant for about 4 or 5 years. I transitioned from Gary Westside to Maryville High School, and I was a JV head, and I was a varsity assistant there. There I got a lot of experience as well, just doing things like trying to set up fundraisers, taking part in my own team, getting used to subbing guys and making sure that rotation was good, developing guys over time, and then finally here I got my start, and I mean, not looking back, I love it.
So you have a military background. Just talk a little bit about your personal background, where you're from, how you ended up here, that sort of thing.
So my military background came from out of college. I went to college for 1 year, went to Central State University. I tried to play on a basketball team there. I made it through the final cut. That coach came to me and told me then, he's like, hey, I love you. I want to have you on the team, but obviously we don't have enough spots for you. So I knew then and there, it pretty much broke my heart. I knew that I wasn't going to be coming back because of out-of-state tuition. So when I came back after that semester, I went ahead and transitioned to the military. I always had thought about it anyway, and so I just went ahead and dove right on in. I spent about 7 years in the military.
What branch?
Army National Guard. Spent 7 years there, did 2 tours, went around the world, and now I'm just trying to bring that discipline that the military had instilled in me and try to instill it into my players.
One of the things, obviously, that we preach, and Mrs. Teamster, feel free to chime in on this one. One of the things that we preach is that we have expectations for our athletes on the field, on the court, off the field, in the community, and we just talked about that. Just talk about your philosophy on what you expect out of our student athletes.
100%. Totally agree with Coach Ashley here. I think it's very important that our kids not only in the classroom, but on the courts and in the fields, showcase us well, are respectful, are putting in their best effort. We want them to be the best version of themselves. So with that comes us advocating for them, but also holding them to higher standards.
Right.
Not only in the classroom, but on the field. So we are doing grade checks. We're making sure that they're following the rules. We're holding them accountable. And I 100% love what Coach Ashley has been doing with our boys. He holds them accountable. He checks grades on them. He's coming in asking questions. We want to make sure that they are knowing that it's once they leave Griffith High School, they have to have something to offer our community and themselves. They have to be able to go out and put something out that's in a positive light. So we want them to do well for themselves and for us because they represent us.
Right.
So we are holding them accountable. We want to make sure they're doing the community service. They're, putting their best foot effort and, go to practices, do your homework. If I'm telling them, hey, somebody's struggling with a class, he's pulling them out of practice and they're getting help for it. So I think it's, as a team, my job is to support him, support all our athletes, all our coaches, making sure that they're getting what they need from me so that they could get the best out of our athletes and our students.
The thing that sometimes people fail to understand is that at the high school level, it's more than just wins and losses. It's about running a program. It's called extracurriculars, and it's an extension of the classroom. And I think a lot of times people may not obviously understand that. They see, scholarships and opportunities and playing at the professional level and all that kind of thing. But I think what people fail to realize is probably less than 2% of all high school athletes, get an opportunity to play professional sports, and probably of that, maybe 4% of kids get a chance to play college athletics. So the number isn't as large as people think, and I think the one thing that we are in a position now in our place with what we're doing across the board athletically, and with the addition of Coach Ashley this season, it just has strengthened our athletic programs. And you have similar views and philosophies as Coach Mason does in football and Coach Brady does in baseball. So I think once you have a cohesive athletic department philosophy, Mrs. Teamster, I think that makes your job a lot easier.
Oh, absolutely. I love that he has military background. In my family, personally, we have military. My son served in the Air Force. My husband was police officer for over 30 years.
Right.
So I understand the discipline and holding people accountable. I want our kids to understand that it's not just about the sport. It's about working as a team, learning to work with others, even if you don't get along with them, showing respect, following the rules, listening to your coach, learning how to work as a unit, like backing each other up. So it's super important that not only in the classroom they show respect to their teachers, do their homework, do what they're supposed to do, even when somebody's not watching you or telling you to do it. It's just important that they develop as human beings, as adults, so when they leave us, they're responsible young men and women. So that's what we want for them. It's not just in sports, it's going to carry over in life. So there's rules that we have to follow, not only for Griffith High School, but IHSAA. There's certain standards that they hold, certain regulations we have to follow. And that's what sometimes parents seem to forget, that it's not just the rules we implement.
Right.
There's also state rules we have to follow. So it's very important that we're all on the same page, and I think we're getting there. I think everybody's doing a good job. Coaches are starting to, mesh well, put out the same message, and that's what we want. We want our kids to see a united front.
Coach, you're 3-1 to start. A tough loss the other night to Bishop Knoll. Obviously one that if you can go back and pinpoint many things or many opportunities where we had chances to put the game away and we didn't do so. But just talk a little bit about your kids and some of the guys on your club early in the season who's really made a nice impact on your program.
Oh, man, everybody's made a pretty good impact. I think the ones that come to mind, first and foremost, is I'll probably say Nathan Visak. He's a senior leader on our team. He's very, very vocal. He's always positive. He has just great leadership attributes that he embodies, and that I would like everybody in our team to embody. Also, another one would be Jalen Wilson. Jalen Wilson is showing great strides of development and of maturing. And he's showing also great strides of great leadership as well. It's day by day with some of them, but those two specifically, they have great leadership attributes that they're showing, that they're displaying. Obviously, some more than others. Clarence Wright is also another big one. Just recently, we had a game, and he usually starts. He plays a lot of minutes for us, and I think we cut his minutes probably in half or maybe even less. And he embodied so much of a great leadership attribute that he was still so vocal on the bench, and him being so vocal on the bench helped us. It pushed us to that win. We were in a close game with Ileana, and him being on the bench as a starter, as a senior, he was still, clapping everybody up, encouraging everybody, cheering everybody on, making sure our bench had great energy. We have great seniors this year. We have a lot of leadership, even from the sophomores that are coming up, seeing that the seniors are taking a higher standard with leadership and being vocal, and they're just pretty much following suit. But yeah.
Talk a little bit about your coaching staff. Any program that's successful has to have great assistant coaches, and any head coach will tell you without a good staff, you're nothing. So just talk a little bit about your assistant coaches and who they are and what they bring to your program.
Yeah, our staff is great. Talk about Cliff first. Cliff is the oldest guy on our staff. I would say the wisest guy on our staff. He keeps us as young guys, keeps us grounded, and just helps us and assists us in every way that we need. He's phenomenal.
That's Cliff Rhodes, by the way.
Cliff
He's
Rhodes,
been around.
yes.
He's a holdover from Coach Belamini's staff.
Yes.
He's a guy who has been around the game, and he's Chicago native who's
Yes.
been around the game of basketball. And I think you're right. I think he's been he's the wise one, you might say, with
Yes.
with the young guys like yourself.
Absolutely, he is, man. And he's not just wise from life standpoint, but from a basketball. He's a basketball mind. He's always in practice. He always has new drills. He's always calling me, late at night, early morning. Hey, coach, I think we should do this. Hey, coach, you need to work on this. He's watching film. He's telling us, pointing out to the guys what they need to work on, what we need to do, how we need to execute defensively, offensively. And then we also have Devin Harris, JV head coach. He's a great skill development type guy. Also, he's also pretty young, so he relates to the guys really, really well. And then last but not least, we have CJ Hampton. CJ Hampton's a Griffith native, graduate from Griffith. Also went to state with Griffith in 2010, somewhere around 2015. But great guy, younger guy, relates to the kids very, very well in his first year of coaching at the high school level, and he's doing phenomenal. He's also a great – all three guys are just great examples, great stand-up men that our guys can look up to, and that they can always call once they leave Griffith High School. They can always call us and call each and every one of us and say, hey, coach, I'm dealing with this. I'm struggling with this. What should I do? Can you help me? And all four of us are willing to help, willing to guide them in whatever way that they may need it to be.
The one thing you mentioned with C.J. Hampton, and I think that's Mrs. Teamster, feel free to chime in again on this. When you bring back somebody who came through the program and who's been in the program, C.J. played for Coach Hayes back, I think it was 2016, actually, the state finals year. So, he was a guy that was part of the program for a couple of years and a guy who played at the college level for a brief time. So a guy who I think really understands the tradition of the program, and I think that's important, especially in a place like Griffith where tradition and the past we try to represent and remain strong with.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think the kids are excited that he came back. They all go out in the hallway, and they're looking for his picture, and they're, asking him questions. They're excited that he's back. It's someone that they look up to, and they see he came here, here he came back. Again, it's the community involvement, coming back, giving back to the community. He connects well with the kids. He works great with them. They all look up to him. They see he came to Griffith, and then, look, he's coming back.
Right.
It's like – it's the love that's there. It's the passion. He's just full of energy, connects great with them, always has a smile on his face. Yeah. It's just he's a great guy overall. The kids love him.
3-1 right now. Tomorrow night, Lake Central at home. It's 7:00 tip on the varsity level. Coach Sexton comes back, bringing his Lake Central club in, who actually was the head coach or the assistant coach at Griffith for a few years. His wife Sarah, the former Sarah Bakken, was I think Times Female Athlete of the Year in '99. She'll be there as well. So there's a little bit of a Griffith connection tomorrow night coming back with Lake Central. Thursday night, we have LaPorte coming to town, another Duneland Athletic Conference school, and I think that's the one thing. And Coach, you and I have had this conversation. You're playing up, and I think that's crucial if you want to have success in the postseason.
Absolutely.
So that's what's happening this week, and then we have the Holiday Hoops Fest, I think, coming up after that, after Christmas over at Highland. That's a long-time tournament we have been in. So that's what's happening on the boys' side. The girls, by the way, will be in action tonight at home. Coach Ballard's club taking on Calumet, varsity only. That's a 6:00 start. So, Mrs. Teenstra, so to you now, sort of building off of what Coach talked about with his program. Obviously, there's the academic side, you might say, and the program running side of running high school athletics. But there's also a financial side, and I think people have to understand. And recently we made a push to collect athletic fees, and some people might say, well, why are you so much of a stickler on the athletic fees and everything that goes with it? And I think it's pretty simple. The school corporation in the state of Indiana does not fund athletics. This is all self-funded, and that's why it's crucial that we're doing some of the things that we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So athletics as a whole, we are self-sustaining. So we rely on the team fees and the entry fees as people come in. Those $7, everybody complains about it, but I don't think they understand. We pay for everything. So officials, the rates are going up because it's so hard to get officials to come in because it's just a struggle. So we pay for officials, we pay for workers, we pay for everything. When we need reconditioning of helmets for football, pads, notebooks for basketball, balls, uniforms, everything. Athletics pays for itself. So it's super important. That's why fundraising is so important. I actually want to push for an athletic booster club as a whole. So it would be helpful as a community, we work together to help fund all of this stuff. Local communities, showcase them. We're going to be doing our golf outing again. We're looking at different dates for that because, it's important. It's good to fundraise, but also have fun while we're doing it.
Right.
And we want to showcase local communities, surrounding areas that are trying to build up. We want to be able to have a good connection, a good working relationship with, businesses around us. And we want to be able to show what it is that we're spending the money on, sleds and pads and all the construction that's going on. People don't understand. Those are paid by bonds. So that's completely separate. So when people say, well, you're having a new pool built, that's completely separate from
Right.
the stuff that we have to pay for. We have to pay for uniforms, balls, nets, everything.
A set of basketball uniforms, correct me if I'm wrong, can run anywhere from $3,500 to $4,000 for a home and away set, correct? And that's on the low end.
That's on the low end,
Right,
yeah.
and that's on the low end. So I think that's the one thing that people have to understand. So when you see the game workers, the ticket takers, the security people, the people at the table, the referees, to put on a football game, it probably runs us upwards of $1,500. To
Yep.
put a game on basketball, it's probably close to $1,000. So, that's why we do what we do, and we ask for your support, whether it's, with the ticket purchasing of $7. And a lot of that is set by the conference. That's not set by the individual
Correct.
schools. That is set by a conference. So, every little bit helps us. And I know that obviously we're pushing to do some corporate sponsorship activities and things like that. So if you have a business out there and, you want to get involved and try to fundraise, feel free to reach out to us at the school. And you mentioned the pool. So the pool, as we said, the entire athletic facility, that is a separate funding issue. That's not from the school. That's a bond issue. The walls for the pool, correct me if I'm wrong, are going to be going up this week.
This week.
They have filled in the old pool with the gravel. They're getting ready to pour some concrete there to pour the floor. And I think people, hopefully people understand that it's a total community effort, and it's not just about athletics at Griffith. We have a brand new auditorium, basically. We have a new choir room, a new band room. So we're trying to put funding into all of our extracurricular activity opportunities for our kids, because at the end of the day, in the state of Indiana, the diploma is the diploma, and it's set by the state of Indiana. What I believe sets us apart from other school corporations is that we are a smaller school with big school opportunities, and we mentioned that. And I think that's something, obviously, that we try to preach at Griffith.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important to give kids different opportunities. Let them showcase their talent. So there's kids that, if they're not athletically interested or inclined, they do have theater, they do have choir. So it's important, and Griffith is well-rounded. There's plenty of opportunity. You can do theater. There's different art clubs. I mean, we want them to shine in their best light. So give them an opportunity. And in doing so, we build new facilities. We have to, recarpeting and painting. And, I don't think the community itself understands how much goes into it. Our custodial staff is phenomenal.
Right.
You walk through that building, it's always clean. There's everything we need. We call them, they're there. They're spot on. Everything gets done as we needed. Everybody's always willing to jump in, and it's a team effort. Everybody helps out in whatever aspect we need them.
One thing you mentioned was fundraising, and just talk about some of your goals for the athletic department as we move forward.
So, like I said, I would like to do one athletic booster club, because I know that there's separate booster clubs for different teams, but they look at it as what is the needs that team has. I'm looking at it as what needs do we have as a department as a whole, because there's a lot of teams that don't have a lot of support. We have tennis, cross country, those are smaller teams, golf, that people don't typically go out and support and, watch, or it's a smaller group of kids. So typically it's just a small group of parents that go. We want to showcase all of our kids. So if we have one athletic booster club, it's as a whole. What do we need? The golf team needs something. The tennis team needs uniforms. We want to be able to sustain everybody and help develop all the kids. We're going to be having a golf simulator. Hopefully that will build the interest for golf. So we want to showcase all of the kids, and in doing that, we need funds for that. So we're going to be having our golf outing hopefully coming up. So as soon as we get dates set for that, we'll be putting that out. Small businesses, where we want to be able to showcase and put their logos up on our, our big jumbotrons for basketball and at the basketball games, or football, sorry. So we want to be able to show the involvement that the community has as a whole, not just for the games, but hey, go visit these small businesses, go have lunch,
Right.
it helps us all out. So this is all for our kids. So the more involved everyone is, the better off our kids are.
You say we, and that we is Meredith Dayton is your assistant athletic
Yes.
director. She is basically brand new to us, very, very much full of energy and experience for a younger kid. And when I say kid, I mean, when you're my age, she's a kid. But nevertheless, she's been a great addition to your staff. Just talk about her and what she brings to your office.
Oh, she's been great. She, like you said, full of energy, young, great ideas, and that was the connection that I wanted. You want somebody that's going to come in and inspire these kids, keep them on their toes, still has the ideas of the younger generation.
Right.
I'm 29 forever, as I always joke around, but we want, new ideas brought
Right.
in, and the TikTok and all that. We always make fun of Mr. Chance, but that's how these kids connect, social media. So if we have somebody with fresher ideas and knows what the new trends are and stuff like that, the kids connect with that.
Right.
As much as we want to say, like, oh, they're on their phones too much, that's what they look at. That's what they rely on. So Miss Dayton, she's been great, holds our kids accountable. That's not a question, but she's full of energy, very bright. She worked at Andrean for a short time. So she's got it. She's there. She's very supportive, great organization skills. She's running the middle school, more, but super involved. Love that she's always available. So she's a great addition. And I know I've only been in the role I'm going on 4 months. She's in it for a month and a half. So we're new to it, but I think we're making strides in the right direction. And I think our role as the athletic department is support all of our teams and coaches. And we hope that they know that we are there to help them, because ultimately it shows us all that we're working together, and we grow together, and we're gonna get it going.
Coach, you are about the little bit less than the halfway point of the season. Just talk about your goals for the rest of this season.
First and foremost, every year our goal is going to be to win conference. That's our very first goal. Obviously, after that, we want to win our sectional, we want to win our regional, we want to win semi-state. Every year, our goal, whatever, doesn't matter. Our goal is to win state. That's basketball-wise. Obviously, as well, this year, want to keep guys eligible, want to keep guys on the team. I know that there were some conflicts, things like that happened last year, but everybody that's there, we want to keep everybody on the team. One of our themes that we have is being transformational over transactional, just making sure that we are transforming guys, not just basketball players, but we're developing young men. We're developing the next leaders for tomorrow's generation, and not just utilizing their talents just to win basketball games. So that's our main thing. That's our main goal, is to make sure that we are transformational over transactional, and we're developing young men, and they are succeeding not just on the basketball floor, but they're succeeding in life after they depart from Griffith High School.
I think that's what it's all about, no question.
Absolutely.
Across the board. So, well, that's going to do it for this month's edition of the Griffith Public Schools Show. This is the end of the first semester this week. When you come back after Christmas break, it'll be the start of the second semester at the halfway point of the school year. And before you know it, it'll be June, and we will be wrapping up this school year. And hopefully it'll be a little warmer than it is today. But nevertheless, for my entire cast of characters today, Coach Ashley and Olympia Teamster, our athletic director, my name is Brian Jennings. If you have any questions regarding anything happening in the district, go to the Griffith Public Schools website, or feel free to reach out to the principals in the respective buildings, and they'll do what they can to help you out. Until next year, I'm Brian Jennings. Thanks for watching, and go Panthers.